Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm the Monk, and today we are in Empire of Sin. I believe we are on episode 12 of our Frank Ragan playthrough. We're doing the Nuzlocke rules, as you guys probably already know by now. And you know what? It's been going really well. We're on probably the penultimate episode. I've actually got a challenge for myself in the last episode, which should air tomorrow. Unfortunately, I've had a little bit of problems recording this episode. I don't know why, but I've had no luck. This is actually the third time I am recording the audio. I had to record the actual footage twice. It's been crazy. So unfortunately, I am not doing it the way I normally do it. So I'm actually doing a voiceover for this episode. So it may not be on, it may not be off, but hopefully we're gonna have some fun. I know. Obviously, we're going to be taking on the safe house. The safe house is going to be interesting. Obviously, we've got a few good gangsters. Actually, one of Malone's friends, or Maroney's friends, is within this safe house. So there's something to take into consideration there as well, which is quite interesting. And of course, once we take out Salts, if we take out Salts, we are on to the last boss in the game. And we've been playing this game for quite a while now. Quite a lot of time has ticked by. These rackets that these bosses own are probably as strong as you can get in the game. Now, I haven't actually looked into it. I don't know if they're ranked 5 security, but if the AI are going to level up rackets, they would have already been leveled up by now. So they really are going to be the hardest fights that we're going to be able to actually face in the game. So it's going to be interesting. We've just got a nice little trait there, and of course, speaking of traits, just before this video went public, ideally I should have released another video as well. Now, I've just done a video on traits, weapons and traits and everything about them. What I actually done is got 100 kills on every single gun in the game. Some of that footage was taken from this playthrough, the melee footage, for instance. And so, yeah, go check that out. I think it's an interesting video. After looking at a fully upgraded gun, I had some thoughts. Some of them didn't look as good as perhaps they did, without the traits, let's say. So yeah, anyway, let's get stuck into this episode. Obviously, we are taking on Salts here. We have 6 gangsters. However, Azar is very injured, and I think we should really be making this a little bit harder for ourselves. I'm going to move R out of the way, and we are going to go in as a 4. So this is going to be... so we're going to go in as a 5. So not a 4, as a 5, but still, I do think this is going to be interesting. I think we've proved that these gangsters are pretty overpowered. And the funny thing is if you actually look at my gangsters, the gangster list, where they are on a tree, for instance, they're all low-level gangsters. Now, admittedly, I have Diana. She's a high-level gangster herself. But the other gangsters, they're really not high-level gangsters, are they? The people that I'm actually bringing in here, they're not high-level gangsters. And honestly, most of them have only got maybe the first trait or 2 unlocked, as you saw then. The current doctor that I'm running with, he just finally scored 25 kills on his pistol, giving him the 2nd trait in the pistol perk tree. And considering that's the only weapon he's using, he's really not getting much of a buff. Like I said, these are low-level gangsters, not maxed out in any way. Yes, they've got good gear, but we are on the hardest difficulty in the game, playing, at a disadvantage with no primary weapons. Don't forget, primary weapons are pretty bloody OP. So yeah, that's where we are. Now, another thing is the safe house. The safe house we're in right now is actually one of my favorites. The reason it's one of my favorites, I believe it's one of the easiest. there is a huge barrier in between us and them. They're obviously on the other side, which normally means we get to position all of our gangsters before they make it round the peak, which I quite like. Plus, I feel that I prefer the safe houses where the boss actually gets involved. Now, don't get me wrong, I never think the boss actually fights the way he should fight, but I do like it when they get involved. It does make the fight easier for me, for instance, in a sense, because I can take out the boss first. Now, the reason I like to take out the boss first is because if I manage to take out the boss, the rest of the gangsters or the guards, they all get panicked, and then, you know, they're like headless chicken and they make silly mistakes. Let me know down in the comments if you think that panic is the problem. Now, I've proposed and suggested the idea before that the bosses should get more involved in the fights, and I've gone over the fact that a lot of the time the bosses stay at the back of the fight and don't do anything, and other times they do get involved. But something I've noticed, and I've only noticed it really within this playthrough, having played quite a few playthroughs, the bosses only seem to get involved in the fight if they're a certain distance to, you know, or should I say, within a certain range of you entering the safe house. So, for instance, in this safe house, we've got the office on the left here. The boss will always rush out. I don't think I've ever seen the boss skip a turn behind his desk ever in this safe house. Let me know if I'm wrong down in the comments, but that's what I think. Now, a lot of the time, if the boss is too far away from you, for instance, they won't come out at all. They will stay at the back, wait for all their people to get killed off, and then eventually decide to come out and fight. I feel like maybe there is something within the scripts there that's wrong. Something there is it's not boss AI. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's a global thing that needs to be assessed and changed slightly. Now, obviously, with the boss coming out and dying, then everyone gets panicked and then the mistakes happen. But maybe panic shouldn't be in the game. If that can be exploited, and it is something that I exploit in my playthroughs, you know, if that is an exploit, then really it shouldn't be in the game, right? So the AI there, I feel like needs a bit of a rework. But as you can see, we're doing pretty good. Now, something that I did comment on the video as well is that the video that I just released, sorry, is that explosives don't have their own trait line. I've been using explosives within this playthrough quite a bit. I don't normally. It's not a habit that I normally get into using explosives, but I made an extra effort in this playthrough to use them. And yeah, so they don't actually trait up, which explains why I haven't earned any traits, and it also explains why explosives aren't within that video. But again, let me know down in the comments if you think that explosives deserve a bit of a buff. Now, I understand that almost anything can be exploited. In this game, the way things are, any weapon or any person is OP. Because quite frankly, the game just isn't hard enough. You know, the combat's not hard enough, the guards you're going up against not hard enough, the boss AI is not hard enough, it's not smart enough. You know, and that's why we're in a major need of a buff, and that's why everything can be considered as overpowered. Everything in this game at the moment is good. But I do think that explosives are its own weapon. I think that they should have their own trait line. Yeah, I just think that maybe explosives need a little bit of a rework and deserve its own trait line. Let me know if you agree, or if you think that no, they are already too overpowered. This little fight is going pretty well, though, to be fair. So what I'm going to do for the last fight, obviously this is the second to last boss. After this, we're on to the last boss. But what I'm going to do is I am going to attack that last boss with just 4 gangsters. So after this fight, I'm going to jip one off. and we are going to be running around with only 4 gangsters now. Again, remembering that these gangsters aren't overleveled, they're not overpowered, they have good gear. It's not the best gear, and hopefully we are going to have a very good episode. Now it's going to be interesting. One, can I do it the final safe house with 4 gangsters? I don't know, maybe. I was surprised to do this one was 5 without any casualties or anything like that. It was very, very easy. However, if I go into a safe house and we get a couple of explosives, if I lose a gangster early on, it could turn very messy very fast. So it's going to be an interesting one to see if I can actually pull it off. Again, let me know down in the comments if you think I can pull off the final safe house with only 4 gangsters, still using the Nuzlocke rules with, you know, what I'm currently using. I think I'll be okay. I think maybe I've got a little bit overconfident within this playthrough. But it could be interesting. Now, the way I see it is, I've currently got 10 gangsters hide anyway. So let's say I run in with 4 and they all die. I can have a do-over, right? Round up the rest of my gangsters and have another go. If I fail again, I think I've got enough money to buy another 4 gangsters and have another go. However, if on my 3rd attempt I fail, then I believe I am just screwed. But either way, it should make for an interesting episode. So, yeah, again, let me know what you think's going to happen, or what you think the odds are, if I'm going to do it on the first try or if it's going to take a while. We will see. Oh, that guard was in the wrong position. He's got it front and back. I have liked the Nuzlocke playthrough though. It's definitely made it harder, made it more challenging, especially early game. Now I've got some traits on my weapons, it's a lot easier. But definitely early game, it helps out. You know, really helps to extend my game. I don't think I've ever played a playthrough, and considering I'm only on 3 neighborhoods, only on 6 bosses, this has been quite a long playthrough. You know, a lot of times passed within my game. This is the longest one I think I've ever done. And I count that to, 1, the patch. I think the patch was definitely a right step in a really good direction. And 2, the Nuzlocke rules definitely helped slow my game down quite a lot. But patch 1.04 should be coming up soon-ish. I don't really know when that is coming out, but we know it's coming, and we know it's coming with auto-resolve. So when that does come out, what I'm thinking of doing is bringing out a Nuzlocke Challenge 2. And again, seeing if I can complete the game on the new patch with the new Nuzlocke, making it even harder for myself still, and seeing how we can go about it. You know what I mean? Again, though, with the Nuzlocke Challenge 1, I still haven't had one person tell me that they have successfully completed a game like it. Maybe I'm going to be the first one. Maybe. Let me know down in the comments, again, if you are working on that Nuzlocke. We've had quite a few comments, to be fair. People saying that they're using their own Nuzlocke, giving ideas for a Nuzlocke 2, and saying that they are currently playing a playthrough and that it is actually making their game significantly harder, which is really, really nice to hear. But still, haven't had anyone complete the game yet. So let me know how it is going for you, and what your thoughts on a Nuzlocke 2 could be. I'm thinking melee only. I'd done no pausing within this one. And I think to a certain extent that did definitely make things harder, because usually I would pause the game and I'd kind of plan out my steps a little bit more. You know, I'd kind of look at where the hit squads are coming from a little bit more. But I haven't done that in this one at all, really. And it kind of like, you know, an extra self-imposed rule. I think I may bring that one into the next Nuzlocke as well, to be fair. And I'm thinking about no healing. Although no healing, that's scary. That's really scary. No healing. You're just dead. You're just going to be dead, aren't you? It's not going to work. You're going to need a lot of money and a lot of gangsters. Like, could you even complete the game without healing? Without healing at all? You know, meaning the only time you would heal would be if you fast travel back to your safe house, which is a bit of a cheat, really. Actually, that's a massive cheat. I can't introduce that. That would be really bad. I would just fast travel back to the safe house every time and heal. Saving the old healing items, though, wouldn't it? So we are definitely on to the last boss in the game now, which is pretty good. This playthrough's actually gone, you know, pretty swimmingly. But I do like Gibby. I think he's you know, the explosive expert. I think he's a good little. If you get enough explosives, explosives are fun. They really are. And honestly, Diana, her pistol, her dart gun, is ridiculously overpowered. That needs to be nerfed. Oh no, don't hit Moroni. That would be annoying. Inflict him with slow during battles. Look at that crit. I just think her crit hits way too much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I really do. But it does hit often. It really does. And she isn't even leveled. I might just, you know, remind you that she probably doesn't even have 25 kills on her gun. Or maybe she's only just got 25 kills, but you know, she's only got 2 traits. So yeah. Consider it done. Anyway, so with a bit of luck, this is going to be the 4. With a bit of luck. However, the last couple of hours in Empire Sin have not been filled with a lot of luck at all. The loop that I left you on in the last episode, that didn't go too bad. It wasn't too bad. I didn't have to clean up too much really to get myself at the safe house, which was nice. But God, I've had just a terrible time trying to film these episodes. Well, this one episode has been a pain. This is the 3rd time, seriously. But it's going to be interesting to see if we can do this final boss with just 4 gangsters. Now, I always said that 4 gangsters is the optimum number. I like 4 gangsters. It's nice and challenging. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, we will see. It should be fun. So hopefully the idea now is to take on a couple more rackets. Kind of reduce the number that we have to get through. What I'm going to do is try and make sure that for the next episode, you know, we cut out a lot of the extra rackets, so that way we can actually just go ahead and get the last safe house done and dusted. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time. They're probably going to get into a little bit of a loop every now and again. It seems to be only one, though. I seem to only be getting into 1 racket for racket loop per war, which I think is pretty good. I think once you actually defeat a couple of their hit squads, that's kind of it, especially if you're taking them on one by one. I have had occasions where I've taken on more than 1 boss at a time. And normally when I take on more than 1 boss at a time, that's when you get the absolute mass hits, which are incredibly difficult to resolve quickly. But with the old patch 1.04, it should help us out a lot. To be fair, I have no idea what the actual full resolve is going to be, but we have been promised a full auto resolve within the next patch, so all of that is going to become a lot less tedious, which will be nice. To be fair though, I have actually won quite a few of those random little encounters that I didn't necessarily expect to win. Some of them, the odds are just against me, like bad. But you know what? Trust the old shotgun, and sometimes you can take out 3 guys in one hit. It's kind of crazy, but still, it's nice. It's always nice to get an unfavourable win.
Gotcha.
Well, guys, I think I am going to leave this episode here. Like I said, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take out a few more of these rackets. You really don't want to see all these rackets. You've seen it all before now. So I'm going to take out a few of these rackets, fast forward it a little bit. And so that way, in the final episode, we can have a bit of a play, a bit of a muck about in this final episode of the playthrough. It should be an interesting one, taking on the safe house with 4 gangsters. Could I do it with 3? I don't think so, unless I ran in and assassinated the boss and ran back out again. But I don't like doing that. I do like to actually clear out the entire safe house. But anyway, guys, I'll leave you with the rest of this little bit. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed what you're watching so far. I'm assuming if you've got up to episode 12, you do enjoy what you're liking. Enjoy what you're liking. Enjoy what you're watching, so hit the like button. I've been a Monk. We've been a Critically Clueless, guys, and I will catch you later. I'll see you later. And sorry for the way this episode has been recorded. Like I said, I had a real pain actually getting this episode done and dusted, and so I've had to do the recording, or the audio recording, very differently this time, as in I'm not doing it while I'm actually physically playing the game as well. I'm doing kind of like a voice over to it, which is why I'm not commenting too much on what's actually happening within this episode. But thank you so much for sticking with me. If you've managed to, all the support is very much appreciated, so thank you very much. And guys, I will see you in the last episode tomorrow night. Don't miss it. Catch you later.
You got it.
I'm on it.
Call a doc. On my way. God, fuck. Call a doc.
Understood.
I'm on it. Shit, they got me.
Good.
Hey, how do you like that? Yeah.